I wish somebody decided to show up for the New York Knicks outside of Mitchell Robinson, because this team is just looking awful. This team is downright pitiful. They have no identity. There is nothing to this team. It is just downright sad. And for a team that has come into the season with championship aspirations, they are certainly playing like a team that's trying to tank and get the #1 lottery pick, which is comical because what do they even got to draft at this point since you'd made the trade for Mikal Bridges? So this team is just awful, plain and simple. To me, looking at this team, and shout out to Jeff, my guy over here on the other side, all right? Make sure you hit the thumbs up button for your boy. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. He's going to give his thoughts in a minute, but looking at this team, man, this is a team that is completely lost. I mean, we see Jalen Brunson on the sideline just trying to galvanize the troops. And I mean, it's at that point where you have to have your captain. Of course, your captain's got to lead the way, try to invigorate everybody. But where's the head coach? Where's everybody involved in this situation, man? This team won the NBA Cup. This team was having conversations of whether or not we should hang the banner. And now we look like a team that shouldn't even be on the floor with most teams in the NBA. All right. If there was relegation, this team should quickly be relegated to compete in the G League. That is how pathetic this team is, man. That's how pathetic this team is. And outside of an identity, it just looks like these guys don't want to play basketball. It looks like these guys don't want to be around each other. I don't know if that's someone in the locker room, whether it's a player, whether it's the coaches, who has created this disconnect, but something's got to get figured out, man, because it's getting ugly real quick. It's getting really dark. Things could certainly change, but as of right now, on January 19th, when you're losing to a Dallas Mavericks team that is now, which was 17-26 entering this game, they are 5-15 on the road. 5-15 on the road. You let them come into Madison Square Garden, and after having what looked like a decent effort, it was a faux effort against the Phoenix Suns not too long ago on Friday night. You'd think you would get Saturday night, sorry. You'd think you'd get a little bit more since you have Brunson and Hart back, but you get no effort from nobody. This team is just awful, awful. And for the people wondering where CP was at the game, he's on his way. Don't worry, CP's going to come through and give you guys his takes and what he saw at the Garden. But don't worry, we're here. Me and Jeff are here right now to talk about this game, and awful, man. Just sucks. Plain out sucks. What up, Jeff? How you doing, man?
How you doing, man? I think I know how you're doing because you already just went on your monologue about it. Bro, I've said for a minute that the NBA has the most volatile vibes in all of sports, where within a span of 5 games or 2 weeks, you could be up thinking that you're contenders, and then the next week or the next couple of weeks, it looks like you shouldn't even be an NBA team. It literally was all good a month ago. Literally, it was all good a month ago, where we as fans, as analysts, as media people, couldn't fathom the mood and the sentiment around the team being in the toilet like this right now. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And I joked with Alex before we got on that this was going to become KFTV murder mystery. Like, this is going to be Knives Out version of KFTV. Because at this point, we got to find out what the family show happened in the locker room on New Year's Eve. Because ever since New Year's Eve, they've lost 9 out of their last 11 games. I can throw a whole bunch of stats at you about offense, defense, whatever. I know that it was 2 different teams, first half and second half. It was so bad, the Mavs scored 39 points. 39 points in the second half and still won comfortably. Comfortably. If they would have gave that effort over 4 quarters, the score would be flipped. So why aren't you coming out with that intensity? Why is it that you're down almost every first quarter? Why is it that, and shout out to Trilogy, James Edwards III, why is it that you're more than likely the first team to call a timeout in the first quarter? Where's the heart? Where's the intensity? Where is my club from Vegas? Did y'all leave them in Vegas? Do y'all got to go back to Vegas and find the old team? Where are y'all? And honestly, Alex, that looked like a team that don't want to play for their coach no more. They don't even want to be in Madison Square Garden at that moment. I really and truly don't know what happened.
I was at the Garden tonight. I went tonight because I had to see what was going on for myself. I had to see what was happening with this team. Shout out my guy Lonnie, brought me to the game as a guest, man. Salute to my guy Lonnie Johnson, was in section 115. And this was like another Knicks therapy session, man. I walked in there with questions, CP, what's going on with the team? I left out of there with questions, CP, what's going on with the team? So, y'all know how, like, the therapist needs a therapist? Like, you know, in Sopranos, or like the therapist. So, I left that game. I had to call my therapist. So, I had to call wifey first. Then I called my dad. Then I called JD. So, on the way home from the Garden, I had to tap in. The therapist needed a therapist. I had to talk to my people, you know, my circle, before I came on the post game to vent, because from the opening tip, it was problems. It was problems. The competitive energy of this team is gone. Their confidence is gone. Forget the defense in the garbage. Offense going through the motions. Within the first 2 seconds, it was two teams running at two different speeds. Mavericks, the number 12 team in the West, by the way, 7 players out, had that desperation. The Knicks looked like they were going through a walkthrough for the entire time. It was embarrassing. The Boo Birds were out, rightfully so, till the end. Even in the end, Alex and Jeff, when it was just me and maybe about 5 other Knicks fans left, right? In the end, because everybody had hit the exits throughout the course of the third and fourth quarter. They were gone. The Boo Birds were out. The We Want Giannis chants were out. You name it. This team is cooked at this very moment. They're cooked. They are cooked. And look, two things can be true at the same time, because as I'm trying to figure out what is going on with this team, and I'm texting this guy's hit me, I'm like, what is going on? And I'm talking to people after the game. Two things can be true. If you want to talk about the dog days, the tired legs, a lot of people, former players as well, say it. Okay, I get that. However, there are still fundamental and structural issues with this roster. And that's where I really want to take this tonight. Let's start with, look, Cat, okay, you had the double-double tonight. The 20 and 14, okay, cool. Empty stats, bro. Complete empty stats. And there was no bigger play that was indicative of who he's been with this team for the last 2 years and why this team is in trouble with, you get a breakaway in that second quarter for the dunk. It's Cat in the second unit. You get the breakaway for the dunk. The next play, he thinks he's Stephen Curry and tries to do a step back by the Knick bench, pull up for 3, and he kicks Dwight Powell in the nuts. I said, Lord, I hope this is a flagrant foul on Karl-Anthony Towns, because that was the stupidest thing I had ever seen in my life. That was textbook. We don't need that from our star player. We don't need it. That was the most ridiculous thing I'd ever seen. And so when people are like, man, why are you guys picking on Cat? Why are you guys picking on him? He's our highest paid player, ladies and gentlemen. If he does not make sound decisions, forget about the best shooting big man. If he does not make sound decisions up here, this team has no chance. That is why we come down on Karl-Anthony Towns. That is why when they traded Julius for Towns, and people like, CP, what do you think? I said, it's a question mark for a question mark, because you don't know what you're getting. The Minnesota fans saw this for 8 years. They knew this already. It's a question mark for a question mark. The guy is just all over the place. You can't trust him. This is why in the reel I said the 10 players I wouldn't trade for. Yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns was on that list. And when people were trying to clap back after every good game that he puts up a double-double, oh, you were so wrong, I said, hold my beer and wait a second. Because he shows you time and time again why you can't trust him, man. But that's just one thing. The defense, no matter the coach, the defensive transition defense is still terrible. Terrible. The Mavericks see these guys, and it is a layup line. That the first 3 quarters, fellas, it was a joke. A joke. I don't even know who number 10 is on the Mavericks. Forgive my lack of basketball knowledge on a global level. I thought it was Jaden Hardy for a second. I don't even know who number 10 is. He was killing them. Killing them. Josh Hart talking about, oh, man, this is embarrassing. This is embarrassing. Bro, watch your defense on Najee Marshall. He was killing you. And that's the guy that this team needs. The dog. Najee Marshall was eating their food tonight. And when I watch a guy like Najee Marshall, this has been my problem with this team for the last 2 years. We know the defense is going to be average at best. But if the 3 ball is not falling, what is your counter? Everybody is struggling to get offense right now because, one, yes, okay, they're tired, they're fatigued, they don't have the legs. Okay, Cap, you got Cap and Josh coming through with the ankles. Okay, I get that. Where's the counter? You can't even dump it down to your big man to go get your reliable high-efficiency shot. You can't do it. Because he's offensive fouling, he's hooking people, he's kicking people in the nuts, he's flailing, he's hitting the deck. They have no in-between. They have no shooting guard that can get to the rack. Mikal Bridges is doing somersaults and pirouettes to just get a layup off. It's embarrassing. They are so feast and famine on the three-point shot that when it's not falling, on top of the fact that you're a terrible defensive team, this is the result that you get. 4 losses in a row and terrible, terrible, terrible results. They don't have it. So when I look at a guy like a Najee Marshall, I'm jealous, fellas, because I'm like, this is what we need right now. They don't have it. They can't even get a guy that can get to the free throw line. Yes, at times it can be Josh. He looked like him and both him and Jalen. They came back tonight. They were not moving well. I didn't think that either one of them were moving particularly well, especially Josh. Looked a little bit laboring. At times, he can be that guy, Jeff and Alex. At times, it can be OG when his handles is correct. Never Mikal. And when your big man can't do it, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. So this is what I mean. The 2 things can be true. I spoke to probably the 6th person tonight. Right, Al? Steph talked about it, the dog days. Melo has talked about it, the dog days. I speak to people connected to the players. It's a dog day. Trainers, it's a dog day. Okay, I get all of that, but it's still the players on this team, the mix. There's something not mixing. And yes, we can blame it on Brown, but this is a second coach. It's a second guy. Right? So there are issues with the roster. And as Ari said, not immediately fixable. So the improvement has to come from within. We saw Cap call the roster out, call the guys out on the sideline. Cap was visibly frustrated. I got wind that Mike Brown ripped into these guys at halftime. Okay? Mike Brown ripped into these guys at halftime. But it shouldn't even come to this. How you have the number 12 team in the West, 7 guys down, and they are running laps. They're running a layup line on you. A Princeton offense, a Princeton drill, a weave, 3-man weave on you.
32 fast break points by the Dallas Mavericks to 4.
Crazy. They said as soon as Clay's lady sat down on baseline, she was sitting next to Patrick Ewing, he turned back the clock to the Golden State days. Yeah, Klay Thompson out there looking like the old Klay the Klay of old.
He was cooking so crazy, people started asking, yo, is Meg there? And the minute you got confirmation Meg was there, I thought it was 2015.
So it's like a lot of that. And now I have to also ask and question the captain. Yes, it is that time. It is that time. Because I'm asking this question, fellas, time and time again, and I'm asking it too much. We had Julius here. They still can't get a 2-man game done. Different coach. You got Towns here, same coach as Tibbs. They still can't get a 2-man game going. You get Brown here, different coach, same 2. You still can't get a 2-man game going. The 2 of them had 20-plus points tonight, never feeding off of each other. So I got to question Cap now, bro. Because, again, I'm in there. I'm not only watching the game, I'm fact-finding. I'm digging in. I'm tapping in. Okay? Conversations being had. So I'm with the Cap situation, it's like, bro, like, you're the head of the snake. You got a big man that can't get out of his own way. You've got to rein him in as the point guard. This is now your second Robin, your second coach. And they still can't figure out a way to get some cohesiveness going with your two best players. That can't work that way, fellas. It can't work. It can't work that way. How is it that your two potential all-stars, we'll see if Cap makes it, they continue to play this in spite of each other? So that's what I mean. Like, okay, two things can be true. Yes, you can say, all right, the NBA Cup, they had extra games. They tied, da-da-da. Maybe after All-Star, maybe they get it back. But still, within this roster, the issues still remain under a new coach. These are the same issues from last year. It's the same issues. The questions about Cat, the questions about the two-man game with Cap and Brunson, the questions about Mikal Bridges. It's the same thing. Shout out to Mitchie. Great effort tonight. And Mitchie came out. You know, there was a lot of conversation about what's going on with him. He talked about it. He's going through things. He had a mental breakdown. He was very vulnerable out there on social media. I give the Block That's Monster Big Country a lot of credit. Maybe basketball is his therapy because he does it so well. Did a good job out there for his team tonight. He was the only one when you were searching for energy. He was the only one to give it to you when he came into the game. Wasn't enough, but shout out to Mitchie for stepping up for his team. Because I could not believe, I had a great seat. I could not believe the effort from the opening tip, bro. I couldn't believe it, Jeff. I said, bro, is this the third quarter? The effort was down the toilet. It was lousy. Every guy just walking through the motions. Okay, here's a handoff here. Here's a handoff here. What are you going to do? Here's a handoff here. Up, brick. And here goes the Mavs. Indy 500 the other way. Layup. Najee Marshall. Shot and a foul. Three-point shot going up. At one point, they were like 50-50 three-pointers and field goals. Meanwhile, the Knicks are shooting like 10% from downtown. It's deep. It's deep, man. It's deep. That's why I said I had to call my therapist. It's deep. I'm not saying it's insurmountable, fellas. There's a lot going on in that place right now.
I told you the last couple of times I called in that two-man game is non-existent. This team they're playing in spite of each other. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the coach. I don't know, like, you know, they just not feeling it. And, you know, Jalen was on the bench trying to talk them and get them back into the game. They down 17 at that point, and then they finished the half down by 28. You know, so like, you know, as the leader, it starts with you. You got to set that example. I don't need you being the greatest defensive player out there, but like TJ McConnell, he go out there and he hustle. He work you the same size. Like, just show your guys that for a possession or two, you dig in and you try to get a stop. You try to make something happen. You know what I'm saying? Got to get the two-man game going. I bought a Cat jersey this year. That was a bad investment. Man, look like he's about to get up out of here. I don't know. I'm spiraling. The team is spiraling. I need to sip something tonight. My head hurt. I was crying. I was laughing. This team got me feeling all types of emotions. I ain't felt like this. And even when the team was dirt, we was winning 17 games, I ain't feel like this. Like, it's just a terrible feeling, man. I don't know. I'm trying to keep my head up. I hope everybody else try to keep their head up. We gonna be all right. Hopefully, I'm all over the place, man. I'm gonna holler at y'all, man.
Grabba on the Discord. Hey, man, I'll tell you, man, just grab some grabba and, you know, whatever else, you know, sprinkle that in and get to it, man. We're going to let you get to it, man. Poor guy. Said he bought a Towns jersey, said it's a lemon. Hey, maybe try to get them letters off and throw McDaniels on there. He's 32. You know, throw a little X-Man on there. So, damn.